Welcome to the Expert in You Showcase, the show where we bring you quick, powerful conversations with elite entrepreneurs and other professional business experts to share their best strategies, secrets, and tips to help you have more success in your business and life. I'm your host, Ann Carden, and this show is brought to you by Expert in You, where we empower professional entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts to become influential figures and celebrities in their markets and add 6 to 7 figures with more ease. Discover a game-changing secret that attracts leads, qualifies them effortlessly, warms them up for your offer, and hands them over ready to say yes. We want to make closing deals for you a breeze. It's time to stop chasing clients and consistently fill your calendar with highly qualified conversations and sales opportunities every month. Increase your influence, impact, and accelerate your income and strategies that work. Book your business accelerator call with me now at acarden.com and let's map out your next step. Today, I have a really interesting guest with me. I have San Kong with me today, and he is the founder of Drive Phase Co. And I'm really excited for this conversation because he kind of merges apps and AI. And we're going to talk about what he's doing in his business, how he's helping small business owners and entrepreneurs. And he really has something that's very different and something we haven't talked about on the show. So San, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Anna. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about this. So I told him I was not going to butcher it, that I would let him introduce himself and what he really does. So why don't you just give everyone a little bit of an idea of who you help and exactly what you do?
Sure, absolutely. So we are what I refer to as a no-code app development agency. And so for those that aren't familiar, so no-code is different than kind of traditional code where you're actually writing out code to build apps. I refer to it a lot of times as visual programming. So we're using kind of existing platforms where we're using kind of existing components to build the apps. And so we're not having to write any code. What I tell people is whether you know what no code is or not, I think the more important thing that they understand is that no code allows us to build apps roughly in about 1/10 the time of traditional code, and usually it's about 1/10 the cost. And so to put some actual numbers around that, for the clients that have given us an idea of what their other estimates have been, we've saved them over $1 million in app development costs so far. That number is probably going to go up in the next 6 to 12 months, pretty significantly, if not double. There was one client that one of their estimates was about $500,000, and we actually ended up doing it for right around 40K. And so
That's
you look at
amazing.
that project wouldn't have happened at 500K. It did happen at 40K. And so you really look at kind of what that opens the door to especially for small businesses. And that's what I'm excited about the most.
Yeah, I love this. This is so amazing and so intriguing to me. So let's talk about that particular client, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What kind of a business was it so that people can kind of get some insight here as to, who an app would be good for and really kind of some of the companies you've worked with?
Yeah, it's been in a broad range. And I will say that we're trying to move a little bit towards some larger companies, but it's really ranged from kind of small. There was a carpet cleaner that we worked with where we built kind of an online quoting app. So that really helped him generate more
Cool.
leads.
Yes.
And that was probably on the smaller side of what we did. The project I just talked about was a company in the risk management space. And a lot of the companies that they're competing against are huge established businesses. And so they're using technology as a way to differentiate themselves because a lot of the processes, that are being used in their industry are still in Excel. As shocking as it is with the resources that the businesses that they're competing against have, like a lot of what they're doing is in Excel, and it's just the industry is such that they're just not incentivized to innovate. And so with a smaller company trying to compete, innovation is really kind of one of their best weapons. And so this really allowed them to do that and build tools that really separate them apart. And then, like I said, for the size that they were, $500,000 was kind of a non-starter,
Right.
and so, it was a win-win because they were thrilled to pay us that amount and we were thrilled to work with them because for us, it was a larger project as well. So, but it
Yeah.
really ranges. And I tell people that there's very few companies that could not benefit from having an app. I think it's just a matter of, I think a lot of small businesses never just thought that a custom app was so far out of their reach that they never thought
Mhm.
of having it. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So who would make so when people think about apps, for example, what would make someone want to add an app? So yes, set themselves apart, but give some ideas of different kinds
Sure.
of companies that an app would be really a differentiator for them and would also simplify what
Sure.
they're doing in their business.
Yeah, no, I think there's kind of there's a lot, but there's kind of two main use cases that come to mind, especially for a small business. So the first one that comes to mind is if there are processes that you find you and your team are doing over and over and over again. So I'll give you a quick example. It's actually for one of my own businesses. So I actually have an e-commerce business that we sell custom paint by number kits, if you're familiar with
Mm,
that. And
hmm
so what we do is we offer a proof to the customer, so they can approve what the finished paint by number kit looks like before we ship it out to them.
hmm
Well, originally we were running that where we'd have a VA that would, we would get the photo from the client, we would send that to kind of our team that would convert it, we would get that proof back, send to the customer, they would approve it, and then we'd let the team know, hey, you can go and produce this. So what we did is we built a proofing system where we integrated with our e-commerce system, so that photo automatically kind of got imported into the system. Our
hmm
vendor that did the conversion had access to that, so they could see it, download the photo, they can convert it, upload it back into the system, which automatically triggered a text and an email to the client saying, "Hey, please approve this proof."
hmm
And they would do that, and then so what happened is now my VA, who was originally kind of facilitating that process, didn't have to do anything, and so I
hmm
timed it. It was about a 5-minute process for each order. At our peak, we were doing 5 to 8 thousand orders a year. So if you do multiply 5 to 8 thousand times 5 minutes, that adds up
Right.
quite a bit. The other thing that we did in that process was we actually said once they approved it, we said, "Hey, can we share this on social media?" And if they did, it automatically pushed that proof out to all our social media channels. And
Mm.
so it actually, at our Pinterest at one point was getting about a million impressions a month off of completely automated content. And
Wow.
so that's
That's
one where
amazing.
it's like, hey, this was a repeating process that we did
Mhm.
over and over again, where an app really made a big difference. The other one is customer experience, where it's somewhat related, but if there are processes that you see where an app can kind of really improve the customer experience. So we actually built an app for that same business
Mhm.
where they could um, upload their photo right on the mobile app, which was nice because then they could take a photo and then upload it directly into our system. And
Mhm.
then what also happened is when the proof got done, they got a push notification from the app. And then they got to approve it right on there. So it just kind of made it a more seamless process. And then,
Yeah.
and just kind
Yeah.
of, instead of having to log into a website, remember what the URL is, it
Mhm.
really kind of made that process simpler. So I would say repeating processes is one, and then also kind
Mhm.
of areas where you can improve the customer experience would be another area that I think are
Yeah.
huge opportunities.
This is so intriguing to me because a few things that I heard in there in that conversation is one, you're saving them if they want an app, you're actually cutting
Yes.
costs and saving them a lot of money, but you're also saving them actually payroll
Yes. A
with an
thousand
app.
percent.
In that particular situation that you shared, you're saving them a lot of payroll. You saved yourself a lot of payroll.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that's really great. But the other thing is you're also giving their clients or their customers a better experience, which
100%.
we need that in the marketplace today. Oh my gosh, it's so bad out there. I sometimes I
Mhm.
wonder how businesses stay in business because of the lack of customer care and customer experience. I mean, we see it when we work with when we have to do anything with a bigger organization, right? It's a
Mhm.
nightmare. It's a nightmare. So I love this. I think it's really brilliant and genius because you are giving these small businesses a much better way to compete, and
Mhm.
people want to do business with people and they want to be treated right. So I really love that you're doing this. How did you get into this?
So it's kind of a funny story. So during the pandemic, which was different time for all of us. We have a only child. She was a daughter. She was about 8 at the time.
Mhm.
And her highlight, it was a challenging time for her as an only child because, she lost all her socialization. So her highlight of her day was the ice cream truck. And
Mhm.
so what would happen every day inevitably was we'd hear the ice cream truck. And then so she'd run around the house like a chicken with a head cut off and had to go find her birthday money, put shoes on, and she couldn't go by herself. So she had to wait for dad. And so we missed the ice cream truck more often than not. And so what she said was, "Hey, Dad, can we build an app to track the ice cream truck?" And so as a girl dad, I was like, I can't say no. I have to find a way to make this happen. And so I looked at what it would cost to pay someone to build that. Or like, I love my daughter, but that is going to be a challenge
You're right.
to do. So I ended up taking a class on using a platform called Bubble, which is, kind of one of the first no code platforms.
Hmm. I
8 week
just heard
course.
about that actually on
Yeah.
a podcast. Someone shared that same platform last week with me. Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's one of the first ones. That was one of the primary ones that we've used. There are more now, so we are actually kind of branching out and using different platforms, but that was one of the first ones. And so I took an 8 week course, built it, and actually what happened was we actually did some marketing. I tried to teach her some entrepreneurship. We actually had a food truck association in the Midwest actually licensed us for about 2 or 3 years, and
Hmm.
so that was kind of the first thing I did, and then I started building apps for my other businesses, and then that morphed into building apps for other businesses as well.
Very cool. I know. I love this. What a great story. I always say, out of adversity comes opportunity, right? Out of
Absolutely. Yep.
obstacles. COVID opened up so many doors for people. For me, it actually was sounds terrible, but it was a really good thing business wise because so many people were used to only doing business offline and
Yeah.
I was already online. And so now I got to teach, which is sort of where my Expert in You brand came from, teaching people how to really build their influence and their brand and their business online so they're not dependent on just offline and
Yep.
so it opened those doors of opportunity. But I saw so many people start courses and start different businesses, and so I think through a lot of things it also gave people, where I used to work with small business owners when I first got into coaching, and they thought that you had to be in front of them all the time to
Hmm.
coach them and to work with
Hmm.
them, or that you had to be in their business. And there's nothing almost that you can't do, like through
Sure.
Zoom and through technology. And so for me, it actually opened up that door because now they realized, oh, wow, you really can do business and you leverage your time and all of that when you do a lot of things online. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it was a great thing, but I love that you were able to turn that into something, and now here it is. It's a whole nother business for you. How many people do you have that work with you, or is it just you? What's your structure?
So internally, it's actually my wife and I. My wife actually comes from
Cool.
a product management experience managing tech projects
Mm-hmm.
she's done it for some of the largest banks in the world, as well
Mm-hmm.
as she worked on the VA hospital app for a period of time through a contractor. So she
Very
has actually
cool.
coding experience, but
Mm-hmm.
it works out well because, she worked in these like really on these huge projects. So she was able to bring a lot of the structure and
Mm-hmm.
processes of that to what we do. And so
Yeah.
it's a really good kind of partnership there because I've got a lot of the entrepreneurial experience. So I understand what the entrepreneurs are going through. I understand the no code side of it. So I can understand that standpoint. But then she brings a lot of structure to it. And then we have a lot of freelancers. I've just learned over the years to keep my
Mm-hmm.
payroll as nimble as possible. So we work
Well,
with a
we
lot of
have that
freelancers.
opportunity now. We
Yeah,
haven't always had that. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yes.
And so we've got a great number of freelancers that we've built relationships over the last 2 years with. And so we have, what we refer to as UI UX designers that actually kind of design the overall interface. We've got
Mhm.
developers and we also have quality assurance, so testers that go through and test what we're building to make sure that, what we're providing to clients is working,
Yeah.
which is important. And so it's a pretty broad range of expertise that we have.
Very cool. I love that you guys are a power team. I always love when I see couples that are, a power couple doing business together. I think that's amazing. If you can make that work, it's amazing. It's amazing.
It's taken some learning to figure
It
out
does.
how to do
Mhm.
and pretty much allow we've learned to allow each other to just own pieces that they
Yeah, that's the
just do the
best
way
way. Mhm.
like you do it the way you want, and then you come to me if you need help.
Yeah, yeah. My husband's not involved in my businesses and really has never been, except he's always been my biggest cheerleader and my fan and my support. And when it came to really huge financial decisions that were going to impact us, personally,
Sure,
then he would be involved. Other than that, he just supports me.
sure.
So it works out well. But I do bounce a lot of ideas off of him, and
Yeah.
and he's, a great support that way. So I love that. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement. So, how do you get your clients, and what is sort of your marketing strategy to get clients?
Yeah, so there's been a couple things that have worked well for me. Um, we do some LinkedIn outreach, so that's
Mm-hmm.
been good. We definitely have referral partners. Something else that's been kind of working well for me lately, and ironically, it's a tool I built for myself using no code, is a social listening tool. So I have
Mm.
certain keywords that I monitor, and right now I have it set to Twitter, Reddit, and LinkedIn. And so basically, when people post things that have certain keywords in there, every morning I go into the tool that I built, I look at and I actually respond to them.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
surprisingly, and what's nice about it is it's high intent stuff, right? Because it's people
Mm-hmm.
that are saying, "Hey, I'm looking for an app developer. I'm looking for XYZ," and then I
Mm.
go and respond. And then 9 times out of 10, what's the the intended effect, unintended effect is Reddit is particularly good for this, is people that are doing research on something
Mm.
find that thread, see
Right.
my response, and then schedule time with me. So I actually had someone this morning that scheduled someone from their source was Reddit, and so I know almost 100% that that's from that activity. So
Are you selling that app? Are you selling that
I did.
to other
I built it for
people?
myself, and then I was like, I was trying to learn a new no code platform, and my thought process is, if I'm going to spend the time to learn this, I'm going to build something that's useful. And
Mhm.
so I knew something that I would use, and so yeah, it's signalboard.io is the name of it. And so but yeah, so we have a few people using that. But yeah, no, it's like I said, I built it for myself, but
Mm.
we do have other people using that as well.
Yeah, I actually love that. What is the investment of that, or how does that work?
So for 3 keywords, it's 29.99 per month, and then for 10 keywords, it's
Mm.
69.99 per month.
Cool. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
check that out. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Very
no,
cool.
it's worked well. Like I said, it's just so
Mhm.
if I'm going to spend the time to learn something, I figure I'm going to build something that I can use.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I'm all about building a brand of influence in the market, being seen everywhere. So what do you guys
Yep.
do to build up your brand and really be out there and build that expertise?
Yeah, so I mean, things I do is so for instance, I actually mentor with the Founder Institute,
Mm-hmm.
which is a startup accelerator. So
Mm-hmm.
I mentor there. We did some stuff with the local chambers of commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You
I've been
speak,
doing
so you get out and speak, or
yeah, we do
mm-hmm.
that. Again, I do a lot of education through things like through podcasts and other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. We do a lot of content marketing as well. I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of YouTube videos, as well as blogging. So, as you said, kind of finding ways to kind of brand ourselves as such a subject matter experts, in this no
Mm-hmm.
code space.
Very cool. So what are your goals for this next, actually for 2025? What are your big goals?
So, we're trying to get about 3 decent sized clients per month. And so we're actually it's funny, we started going after larger clients. And
Mm-hmm.
so what we found was, we were making more for the same amount of work, which is obviously great. But we also learned that those larger clients actually take time to close, right? And so
Mhm.
what I'm finding now is we're starting to close stuff that I started working on in October, November of last year,
Mhm.
right? And so I actually think we're moving in a good place, and our pipeline is good. But it's been that consistency of it that has
Mhm.
been important of consistently doing the outreach. I've stepped away, really relied more. I stopped building stuff directly myself and really relied on my freelancers to build it, right? Because what was happening was
Mhm.
I was trying to build everything, and then so I'd sell a project, build it, and then we'd have to start all over to get a new project.
Oh, so you learn that now if you want to scale and grow, you
Yeah,
have to,
exactly,
yeah, you can't
exactly.
do it
So
all, right?
exactly. So that's
Yeah.
been a key part as well. So
Mhm.
and like I said, my wife coming on and building out some process has been really helpful as well. So yeah,
Mhm.
we're moving in a really good place, and it's taken time, and we've learned quite a bit, and we figured out what
Mhm.
works from a marketing perspective. So it's really a combination of all those things that have really made a big difference.
Very cool. What do you say? What's your greatest challenge right now in scaling your business?
I think it's a couple things. So one is just education. I think I mentioned to you, before we got on
Mhm.
this call that there's so many small business owners and they're our best clients. Like the clients that have never heard of no code end up being
Mhm.
our best clients because it just opens up a whole world to them, right? So I
Mhm.
think one of them is educating, the audience of
Mhm.
no code and what it could do to benefit them. I think another challenge that I see down the road, and I think it also can be a potential solution for us is AI.
Mhm.
If you look at AI, it is changing the landscape quite a bit of technology. And
Mhm.
so I think we're trying to figure out how to best leverage it for our advantage as opposed to something that ends up replacing us. So I
Right.
think we can use it to deliver a better, more cost effective product as opposed to having AI be what replaces us completely.
Yeah.
Because I still think we bring a lot of value because even though you can use AI, knowing how to design a product, knowing how to manage a product from start to finish, knowing the QA process, knowing the UI UX design process, those are all things that, you know, you may not know. And so even though AI enables someone to potentially generate a product, that there's so many other pieces to it. So I think just educating the public on that and really demonstrating the value of just building the product is one piece of it. There's so many more aspects that have kind of the soft skills that you need to build a successful product that I think aren't always kind of AI may not be one to kind of point some of those things out to you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for sharing this. So interesting. And what an opportunity for people. Any final thoughts that you would like to leave people with?
No, I mean, I think it's really just, I hope people just walk away from this kind of expanding the horizons and realizing there's much more possible that you need to kind of find ways to leverage technology, leverage AI,
Mhm.
because the reality is if you don't, your competition will. And
Sure.
so I think it's important for a lot of small businesses to start kind of realizing they need to embrace it, even if they're not 100% comfortable with it. And
Yeah.
and because with the technology that I mentioned, it's more accessible now. And so
Mhm.
I think it's a great time
Yeah.
to explore it.
Now, do you have a book by chance?
I
Have you
don't
written
have
a
we
book?
have an ebook, but I don't have a book. It
Okay.
is on my bucket list. That is something that I want to explore, but yeah, not currently.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. This has been great. We'll put all of your information in the show notes so people will be able to get a hold of you. And what's the best platform to reach you on if they want to reach out to you on social?
So, I mean, the website's always going to be the best. So it's www.drivephase.co. But
Hmm.
we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. I put a lot of educational content out there. So any of those platforms, Facebook as well. So any of those platforms
Is it
will.
under your name, San, or is it
No,
under,
it's
it's
under
under
Drive
Drive
Phase.
Phase?
Yeah,
Okay.
Drive Phase CO.
Okay.
My LinkedIn is under my name, but the
Okay.
rest of them are under the business
Very
name.
cool. Yeah, and we'll again put all that information in the show notes so people can grab it. So thank you so much. This has
Thanks for
been
having me.
wonderful having you on. Yes,
Yeah.
and thanks for sharing your expertise and opening up those opportunities for people and really expanding their mindset as to what they could be doing in their business. I'm always about how can you stand out, how can you separate yourself, and so I love this. It really fit well with what I talk about and helping people really set themselves apart in their market. So very cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Yep.
Yes. All right, everyone. I want to thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Expert in You Showcase. Go rock your business and God bless you. Bye-bye. If you are ready to attract high-paying clients like clockwork, build powerful influence and scale your business with ease, let's talk. Book a complimentary $1 million accelerator strategy call at acarden.com to discover how the Expert in You method can help you create a steady stream of premium clients and consistent revenue growth. Don't wait. Your next big breakthrough starts with a simple conversation. Visit acarden.com and let's make it happen. Have an amazing day and God bless you.